This is Max Goldberg from Living Maxwell. I'm here at the New York State GMO labeling hearing. I'm here with Andrew Kimbrell, the Executive Director for the Center for Food Safety. Andrew, it's great to see you.
Great to see you again, man.
It's been, last time I saw you was 2 years ago at the Right to Know March in Brooklyn.
I think that's absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. New York. We seem to meet in New York all the time. That's great.
Absolutely. So we just had the New York State GMO labeling here. How did you think it went?
I think it went well. I mean, it's exciting to see a huge number of people come in to a fairly remote location up here in the Bronx.
Yeah.
I mean, that room was packed with activists. You see the growth and the energy in the food movement, and that's really exciting. I mean, this place was packed with informed and interested folks, and I was also surprised to see the number of members of the assembly that showed up. I mean, we had many legislators there. I didn't expect to see that large group of legislators who appeared to be really interested and asked some very good questions.
Yeah, no, there's a huge amount of interest, especially on the pro-organic side, the pro-GE labeling side. What was your take on how the industry defended? We had a group of farmers who got up there and said, we need this. We're saving the amount of pesticides sprayed on the crops. They didn't seem overly informed. They seemed like they're fed information from the industry. And then we had the industry people get up there and really attack the bill.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the humorous things, and we saw this in California during the Prop 37, that was the GMO labeling ballot initiative. They say, you know what, we're not necessarily opposed to federal labeling, but we just don't think it should happen on the state-by-state basis. Well, I can tell you, I've been fighting for federal labeling legislation for 15 years. I wrote the current petition that's at the FDA with, thank goodness, 1.2 million people have said they support. These folks aren't in Washington supporting federal labeling. They'll fight this just as hard. It is absolutely hypocritical. It's disingenuous for them to come here in front of legislators and say, oh, they might support a federal bill, when we know they don't, and they won't, and they haven't. So that's one of their major defenses, because who can argue against labeling? I mean, it's fundamentally a right to know issue. Totally. Now they say that consumers will get confused. No, they won't. Consumers will get informed.
Yeah.
That's very different than being confused. It means, I now know that there's novel bacterial DNA, novel viral DNA, novel genetic material in here. I now know that patented Monsanto DNA is in this food. I'm not confused. I'm informed. That's a very big difference.
Yeah, the confusion argument is so weak.
And it also is insulting.
Yeah.
It means that the consumer won't be able to understand that this is genetically engineered and that contains novel genetic material never before seen in foods. Of course they'll see that.
Yeah, totally.
Now, here's the dirty little secret. The dirty little secret is that in 30 years and untold billions of dollars later, they have failed to come up with a single trait that benefits the consumer. No better taste, no lower nutrition, no lower cost, no lower fat, no nothing that benefits the consumer. Only risk.
Right.
So that's why they're really, Max, afraid of labeling, because it will demonstrate, the consumer will go and say, here's a GMO product, same price as the non-GMO, exact same price, this only offers me risk, no benefit. Why would they ever pick it? So it really advertises not hysteria, not confusion, but the simple fact that they have failed in the marketplace to provide any incentive for any consumer to buy a GMO product. And as such, they're afraid to have it labeled because no one will buy their product because it only offers risk.
I love what you said in there, and you've told me this before. It's like no one wakes up on a Sunday morning, I can't wait to have genetically engineered eggs or genetically engineered any type of food.
Right. These genetically engineered crops are fundamentally engineered to ease herbicide spraying for large farmers. Before, you had to be careful with your herbicides because it would kill the crop, not just the weeds, if you got some of the herbicide on the crop. They used a bacterial gene now, rather cleverly, so you can aerial spray your soy, aerial spray your corn, soak them in herbicide, and they won't die. Yep. So we see 115 million more pounds of this toxic herbicide on our crops every year. They're making a lot of money on that, and by not having labeling, right, that means that the average consumer is not going to be able to say, I don't want that herbicide-soaked crop in my food. They're making the money. So far, they've been able to keep the American public in the dark, but that is changing. We are seeing 25 states now have labeling legislation. This is not a matter of if we're going to have labeling, it's when. And either New York State, we saw Connecticut pass its bill, Maine has passed its bill, and I think we're going to win in Washington State this November.
Yeah. Now, speaking, just to wrap things up here, we're doing things on the state level. You're in D.C., you're in the thick of things. What are you seeing in terms of the federal bill? Are we making progress, or is it just really, really slow going?
It's really important for people to understand, particularly the great activists working at the state level, that this is the only way we're going to get federal legislation.
Okay.
The corporations have such a stranglehold on the FDA and on certain members of Congress that it's going to take a state like New York or Connecticut or Washington to pass this and have an effective labeling law. And believe me, once that happens, they're going to go to the feds right away, and we'll have the battle, and we will have some kind of federal labeling, no question about it. But it's going to take state action to get it to the national level, and I mentioned that to the committee today.
Okay.
You know, one of the argument that they use is that there is no difference. This is another thing they said today in front of the committee. There's no difference between GMOs and non-GMOs. Really? Really? Because I said, you know, they have patented hundreds of these elements that are novel in GMOs. They've patented the bacteria vector that puts that gene into the cell of the corn or the soy. Yep. They've patented the genetic construct itself, whether it be herbicide tolerance or Bacillus thuringiensis, BT. Cauliflower mosaic virus promoters are in every one of those cells. Antibacterial marker systems are in every one of those cells. All of this is patented. So they go to the patent office. This is completely novel. This stuff's never been seen in foods before. And then they come in front of a committee like this and go, hey, there's no difference. There's no difference here.
Right.
Totally hypocritical, and I think the committee saw that.
Yeah, I think so as well. Andrew, thank you so much to coming up to testify, and always enjoy hearing your perspective and everything you do at Center for Food Safety. You know, I'm a huge fan of all your work, and it's great to see you. Hopefully I'll see you sometime sooner than another 2 years.
Exactly, Max. Thank you for all the work you do.
Oh, thanks.
I always appreciate it. I see you on YouTube all the time. You're doing great work.
Oh, thanks. This is Max Goldberg from Living Maxwell. Just remember to buy well, eat well, and most importantly, live well. Thanks for watching.